Why would anyone play Team Fortress 2? Let me break it down for you. Awesome old-school multiplayer FPS action. 9 very unique classes with a lot of weapon and playstyle variations. Great aesthetics, which combine 1960s era technology, architecture, and clothing with a slight cartoonish touch. Billions of cosmetics that allow for infinite combinations to craft your personal look and style, and the sheer amount of positively stupid things you can do. And now, let me proudly present a game a lot of us grew up with. Welcome
to Team Fortress 2. After 9 years in development, hopefully it will have been worth the wait. Thanks, and have fun.
TF2 is a free-to-play, multiplayer, team-based first-person shooter with a premise that goes something like this. There are 9 radically different classes with a wide variety of weapons and cosmetics. Equip whatever guns you want, dress up like a clown, and then pick game modes and maps and go have fun shooting people. The game modes range from your fairly standard control points, payload escort, capture the flag, and king of the hill, to silly stuff like the medieval mode that limits players to melee weapons and only allows for a few ranged options. Each game mode also has its own set of maps, so the infamous Two Fort, for example, can only be played in capture the flag mode. TF2 is also one of the games that pioneered things like trading, microtransactions, and gambling. In this game, you can trade almost everything between players: guns, cosmetics, tools, etc. You can also buy a lot of stuff from the game store directly, although it's often not worth it. And most importantly, the game introduced its signature crate system, which went on to be featured in Dota 2, CSGO, and many other non-Valve games. It works by giving you free locked crates as you play, which can be opened with a $2.5 key to give you a random item from its specified item list, while also having a 1% chance to give you an unusual hat that can have all kinds of flashy particle effects and can be worth hundreds if not thousands of dollars. Though most of the time you get garbage that's worth less than a key, so yeah, it's pure gambling. I wanted to include an accessibility section in this video, but then I realized there's no point as this game is so simple to pick up. You launch the game, join a server, pick your class, and shoot enemies while trying to work with your teammates. Speaking of classes, let's go over them one by one. Scout is the class for people with ADHD. It's the fastest class in the game that has the ability to double jump and has weapons that deal very high burst damage up close, but is very fragile and lacks AoE damage. It requires perfect movement, positioning, and aim from you, but it also allows you to become a hyper-mobile menace that flanks, evades, and dishes out insane damage at close range. The weapon options include a shotgun that allows you to, fly, a pistol, a throwable meat cleaver that bleeds enemies, a radioactive drink, a throwable jar of milk that covers the enemies in milk, a bat that allows you to not just double but triple jump, a fish, and a frying pan that is used to blow the eardrums of everyone on the server. Soldier is a class for both stupid and smart people. If you're dumb like me, you just walk around and spam rockets at enemies, while high IQ people can do whatever this is. It's a class with the second highest HP in the game, but is also one of the slowest. That is, however, compensated by your rocket launcher, which is easy to use, deals high AoE damage, and allows you to rocket jump to boost your mobility in exchange for health. Soldier is the jack of all trades of TF2. You can do almost everything, and it doesn't take a lot of brain power to use. The weapon options include a rocket launcher, a Quake rocket launcher, and a sniper rocket launcher, among others. There is also a shotgun, cool boots that reduce the damage you take from rocket jumps, and a horn that you can play, which apparently sounds so awesome that you and nearby teammates temporarily do more damage. As for melee, a shovel is good enough, unless you want to whip your teammates for extra move speed. Pyro, like Soldier, allows for both absolute brain-dead playstyles and 1000 IQ playstyles. It's a class with solid max HP and move speed, which uses the flamethrower that deals high damage up close and sets people on fire, but can also air blast to push enemies or reflect incoming projectiles. Now, you've probably heard of W plus M1, which refers to dumb Pyro players who just run at people and try to burn them with their flamer. So at a surface level, Pyro does seem to allow this hella stupid playstyle. But if you dig just a bit deeper, it turns out Pyro can abuse weapon combos like no other class. Bait people into shooting at you and make them eat their own rockets. Set people on fire with the flamer and then switch to your flare gun that crits burning targets for high burst damage. Or set people on fire, then throw them into the air with your air blast and finish them off with the extinguisher that also crits burning targets. Use the detonator to rocket jump for bursts of extra mobility. Use the jetpack to drop on top of unsuspecting enemies or escape bad situations. Pyro rewards creativity like no other class. Demoman is, surprisingly, 2 classes in one. By default, you have a sizable HP pool and below average move speed, but your arsenal allows you to dish out devastating AoE damage. Your grenade launcher is pretty straightforward, and can be used to either directly hit enemies for great burst damage, or to throw grenades over obstacles when needed. Your sticky bomb launcher is great for spamming an area for massive damage, destroying buildings, or making traps in high traffic locations. Oh, and your melee is a bottle of booze.
Cheers, Nick!
On the other hand, you can give up guns and instead equip boots, a shield, and one of many huge swords, which turns Demoman into what's known as a Demo Knight, an incredibly mobile and tanky melee-only subclass. Or you can mix between the two, why not? If you like bombs and swords, this class is right up your alley. Heavy is slow as hell, has a big scary minigun, and a ton of HP. There is unfortunately not too much variety to this class, although it can be very fun, especially if you have a medic backing you up. Your minigun options are all fairly similar, some boosting damage but making you immobile, while others giving up damage for accuracy or a slowing effect. Heavy also has a trusty shotgun, although it can be replaced with a sandwich, a banana, a steak, or a chocolate bar, because why not? There is nothing quite like having lunch in the middle of a firefight, and you can share them with your team too. As for his melee weapon, it's his fists obviously. Why would he need anything but his bare hands? Engineer is a class for people who like tower defense games or city building simulators. While he does have a shotgun, a pistol, and a melee wrench, he can also build a sentry, a dispenser, and a teleporter, all of which can be upgraded and repaired using metal, his unique resource that is replenished by picking up ammo. When upgraded, sentry deals more damage and starts firing rockets, dispenser gives more health and ammo, and teleporters cool down faster. If you wish, you can further specialize into babysitting your buildings and equip a shotgun that fires bolts that repair your buildings from distance, or a joystick that allows you to take manual control of your sentry and gives it a protective shield. Or forget about camping and equip the gunslinger, a robotic arm that gives you an HP boost and replaces your regular sentry with a much faster building mini sentry, which allows you to be far more aggressive and annoy the hell out of everyone. If you want to be the backbone of your team, go NG. There are few things in life as tragic as walking out of spawn and seeing that you don't have a teleporter to transport you straight to the front line. Medic is the class that everybody loves, adores, cherishes, and yet nobody wants to play. But if you're willing to support your teammates, Medic has quite a few things to play with. First off, your medigun keeps your team alive. While everyone can heal via medpacks that spawn in certain spots across the map, they are often heavily contested. Your team will constantly cry for your attention just to get a second of that sweet, sweet healing. And that's not all, as the mediguns build ubercharge over time, which can swing the tide of battle in your favor. Once activated, the default medigun makes you and your target invincible. Crit Scree gives your target guaranteed crits. Quick Fix heals incredibly quickly, and the Vaccinator gives you and your target 75% damage resistance to the selected damage type, and nullifies crits. Medic is far from defenseless either, as the crossbow can both heal and deal great damage from afar, assuming you can hit your target. Your melee comes in handy too, as it's not only quite powerful, but can also give you ubercharge on hit, or show enemy health, among other things. Sniper is often frowned upon by the community, and for a reason. Sniper, unsurprisingly, has a sniper rifle which can headshot when scoped in. The longer you stay scoped, the higher the damage will be. A quick headshot does 150 damage, which is enough for 5 out of 9 classes, while a full charge does 450, which essentially deletes anything. A very good sniper player can delete or cripple any class at any range instantly, about every 2 seconds. But if you don't feel like tryharding and want to mess around, you can always just go for the bow, which shoots a projectile arrow that is affected by gravity and can also headshot, and even pins enemy corpses to walls if it kills. Among other things, Sniper can get an SMG, a few backpacks that give passive benefits, or you remember how Scout had a jar of milk? Well, the Sniper has a jar of very similar substance, a jar of piss. Cover your enemies in urine and they take extra damage. You can even get a special melee knife that crits piss-covered enemies and insta-kills some unfortunate soul. And last but not least, the Spy. Often considered the weakest class, he still has his niche. You are fragile and lack mobility, and you can only defend yourself with a very average revolver, but you make up for it by being able to go invisible and disguise yourself as one of the enemy players, allowing for creative mind games. If you manage to get behind enemy lines, your knife insta-kills enemies from behind, and your sapper can disable and destroy engineer buildings unless he can get to them in time. If you get caught though, you're very likely going to die. unless you equip the Dead Ringer, which triggers upon you taking damage and leaves a fake corpse behind, while instantly turning you invisible and giving a speed boost for a quick getaway. Spy doesn't seem like much, but in the hands of a good player they can make you rage quit with the amount of bullshit they can pull off. Now, shooting people is cool and all, but Team Fortress 2 distinguishes itself by adding another layer to its gameplay, the funny layer. While you can always run the most optimal weapon loadouts, you can also equip weapons that are suboptimal but annoying, for no other reason than to troll your enemies. While you can always play in a serious and competitive way, you can also taunt after kills, for no other reason than to look cool. Each weapon has a taunt move attached to it, and there are dozens of class-specific and all-class taunts that you can trade for. Killed an enemy? Taunt. Humiliated an enemy? Laugh at them. Your teammate's outfit looking goofy as hell? Laugh at them too. Your team's morale not very high? Start a dance party to lift the spirits, or dance to celebrate a hard-fought victory, because why wouldn't you? You can never bother with cosmetics and run the default OG outfits, but you can also dress up to show off your fashion sense. Or you could make your character look as awful and repulsive as possible. Why? Because you can. This game is as much about shooting as it is about goofing around, trolling, showing off, and having a laugh. The fact that TF2 provides so many opportunities to fuck around alongside serious gameplay is exactly what makes it great. For all the amazing features this game has, there are some problems. First off, while the game appears simple in its gameplay, it can be quite hard for new players to compete. The game is 16 years old, so it's not uncommon to see one team be full of veterans who have put thousands of hours into TF2 over the years, while the other team is new players struggling to get out of spawn. Needless to say, such matches aren't very fun, although thankfully that doesn't happen too often. The other issue is the infamous bots. Some psychopaths decided it would be fun to program and host an army of autonomous sniper bots to ruin the fun for everyone, and these bots have been running rampant across servers since about 2020. It's not all bad, however, as the vote kick function usually allows players to get rid of them pretty quickly, and if the players fail to kick cheaters or the server is completely infested, just switch servers. Another issue is related to trading. Here's the quick rundown of it. If you have a free-to-play account, you can't have shit in this game. You will receive random weapon drops during gameplay, but that's about it. If, however, you want to have access to trading and in-game chat, you have to upgrade to a premium account by purchasing anything from the in-game store. The best way to go about this is to purchase a crate key, traded for 80 or so refined metals, one of the in-game currencies, which will be enough to trade for every single weapon in the game and some hats to boot. Now, the problem here is the fact that all the cosmetics, all the taunts, all the fancy stuff you have to trade for. If you want to have anything in this game, you have to trade for it. If you think you can just collect weapon drops and then exchange them for something good, it would take you months, years, or light years to gather enough weapons for it, so don't bother. If you want to dress up, you gotta pay up. No other way around it. It kinda sucks, but then again, if you want to make a career by trading, or scamming in this game, there is nothing stopping you. Go get 'em, Tiger. Here's a story. Back in 2012, some poor soul unboxed a strange festive sniper rifle on the first try while playing on the same server as me. I immediately bought it off of them for a few worthless weapons, effectively scamming them. I then traded it for a strange festive sticky bomb launcher, which I then traded for a strange festive rocket launcher, which I then sold for 6 keys like a complete and utter idiot, as sometime later it went on to sell for 50 or so keys. So even though I made $15, I could have made 125. This trading failure hurt my teenage brain so hard that it still haunts me to this day. Team Fortress 2, simply put, is a timeless classic. I'm sure many of you have their own good memories and stories from this game. Mine would be playing on a particular arena game mode server in 2013 or so, which is now long dead, that has given me hours upon hours of pure joy and fun, and brought me together with a lot of people I still talk to today. It's a game that not only allows for fun yet competitive gameplay, but also naturally encourages people to communicate, get along, and become friends. It's one of the most wholesome FPS games I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. So, if you ever want to take a break from the hyper-competitive multiplayer games of today, give Team Fortress 2 a try. It's free, it can run on a toaster, and the community is as friendly as it gets. It's never too late to start playing TF2. The badge that you get upon first starting the game summarizes it best. Even though you were late to the party, you were still the life of it.